What's up everybody, Dan the Pan Man here, and I'm going to be talking about 3 mistakes that I made when I first started out. Now, the first and the biggest mistake I made is I was buying equipment that I did not need. Can you believe it? I started with a gold pan, okay? Yes, that's where everybody should start. With a gold pan, something to put your gold in, and a shovel. That's all you need to start. Now, when you go beyond that, you should buy equipment such as a dry washer or a sluice. Sluice is great if you're in a place with a lot of water, but I didn't do that. The first piece of equipment that I bought besides my gold pan was a blue bowl. It was a super concentrator. The thing about those is that you kind of need to move a lot of material to get enough concentrates to be able to run through that, because it's made for finding the small gold at the very end. It's not made for getting the larger gold and everything like that. I can tell you, I did not run enough material with this gold pan to be able to make it worth getting that. Number 2 mistake that I made is I did no research on the location besides just finding out where the location is. So I get out to a location and guess what? I have not a clue what the host rock is. I have not a clue where I should be looking at when I get to the location, if I should be in the creeks, if I should be up on the hill, if it's a hard rock mine, I had no idea. So you should always do a little bit of research on the location that you're going to be at. There's such a wealth of information out there now. You've got books like these, where you got, Plastic Gold Deposits of Nevada, Guide to Gold Panning, Range Guide to Mines and Minerals. Those are just a couple books. There's also USGS geological surveys. There's prospecting clubs. There's YouTube. There's so much you can do now to be able to research what you should look for. How many times have you gone out to a location with a sluice box and realized that, it's a dry creek for 70% of the year, and you just happen to be there during that time? So it's a dry creek. You can't use a sluice box in a dry creek, so you're kind of just stuck there, fish out of water. So it's kind of nice to know whether you're going to be, in a creek, whether it's dry, whether it's wet, if it's going to be a hard rock mine. Just kind of know what you should have with you tool-wise. Number 3, the third mistake that I made when I started out is I just dug without even any idea of where to look for. I went out to a location and I just started digging in the middle of the creek. I was like, there's water here, dig. There's going to be gold. That's not the case. It's not always the case because, there might be gold in that creek, but guess what? It is not always going to just be spread out. It's going to be accumulating in different areas. So you need to learn to read a river. I had no idea how to read a river, okay? But now, it's like I go out to a location, I get up on a nice vantage point, and I look at it. I look at the river, I see where the bends are, where the larger boulders are building up, if there's any exposed bedrock. You can see a lot if you just get up just a little bit above the river. And then when you do dig in those spots, go as deep as you can. Because guess what? You got all these layers of material, and you got your lighter material at the top, because that's just kind of rolling and just playing around at the top. And then as it's playing around, it's creating an agitation. And so that heavier material is going to work itself down, just as though you're panning, okay? You put your dirt in, you're shaking it, right? And the water's sloshing around in there, and then your gold is setting down to the bottom. Same thing in a creek or in a river. That gold is going to work itself down as deep as it can get before it stops, which is why bedrock is so good, because it can't go any farther than the solid rock. So dig as deep as you can when you're digging. Remember, fill in your holes before you leave, because it's always a hazard. Now, talking about these mistakes that I've made and kind of going over a few of the little bit of information, what are some of the mistakes that you made when you first started out? Did you buy equipment that you didn't need at the beginning as well? I'd love to hear your stories. Go ahead and tell me down in the comments below. So if you haven't gone out yet and you have questions, just let me know in the comments. I will try my best to make sure I can answer your questions for you to help you to be able to know what to do when you go out so you don't make some of the same mistakes that I did. So I will be going deeper into some of the topics that I talked about, such as where to look for information, how to read a river, more equipment, and all of that. So be sure to hit that subscribe button to be notified, and also hit that like button if you got some information out of this video, and if you really just like the video in general. Anyways, look forward to seeing you guys later, and y'all have a good one.